Chairwoman Mace, Chairman Moran, Ranking Members Blumenthal, Anticano, and members of the Committees on Veterans Affairs, thank you for the opportunity to present the 2026 legislative priorities of DAV, Disabled American Veterans, and our partners in the auxiliary, of which I am also a proud member. Together, our over 1 million members represent more than 6 million wounded, ill, and injured veterans, all of whom returned from wartime service forever changed. Now, my written testimony details DAV's key legislative goals for this 119th Congress, and it summarizes our many programs and accomplishments that we've made over the last year. So I'll use my limited time here today to highlight some of our critical policy goals. But before I do that, please let me introduce my DAV colleagues joining me here today. Our National Adjutant and CEO, Barry Jizanowski, our National Headquarters Executive Director, Cody Van Boxel, our Washington Headquarters Executive Director, Jim Marszalek, our National Service Director, Scott Hope, National Legislative Director, John Retzer, our National Voluntary Services Director, John Kleindienst, our National Caregiver Support Program Director, Ron Minter, our National Employment Director, Jeremy Yost, and my good friend and my partner and my commander, our Auxiliary National Commander, Melissa Pierce. I'd also like to recognize the many DAV members and leaders who joined me here today. Obviously, not every one of our members could make the trip to Washington, but their contributions have been critical to DAV's success as the nation's premier veteran service organization. I also wish to express my gratitude to our National Executive Committee, members of our interim legislative committee, as well as my Chief of Staff, Mike Valia, for all of their support. And finally, I want to thank my beautiful family, my wife Karen, my son Jack, and my daughter Kate, who have remained steadfast partners and supporters, not only of me, but veterans everywhere. Members of the committee, I sit before you as a service-disabled veteran of the Gulf War. I know from my own time in uniform, as well as from the experiences of my comrades in arms, that there is a price paid by all those who serve. Now, as a former Massachusetts Secretary of Veteran Services, I oversaw more than $100 million in state funding for veterans and dependents. This included financial aid and programming. Suffice it to say, I understand the difficulties you all face when it comes to making decisions that affect the lives of your fellow countrymen. It's not easy, and there's no shortage of critics. So let me take this opportunity up front to simply say thank you for all that you do. Long before gaining that insight, I watched and admired as those who made it home from Vietnam built one of the nation's first memorials to the 25 sons of South Boston who made the ultimate sacrifice there. Witnessing my friends and neighbors from Southie honor our fallen heroes had a profound impact on me. It illustrated the importance of banding together to accomplish a task bigger than oneself. And like many of those seated behind me, I found military service reinforced that idea. As a Marine motor transport operator, I spent a lot of time getting tossed around the insanely uncomfortable cabs of military vehicles. It wasn't the kind of thing that gets glamorized in Hollywood, but getting Marines and supplies where they needed was enough for me to know that I did my part. But as we all know, military service comes with trials and tribulations that can last far beyond our time in uniform. Fortunately, the Department of Veterans Affairs is there to assist us throughout our lives. When I pursued my higher education, it was GI Bill that paid my tuition. When the VA Home Loan Guarantee Program helped Karen and I buy the house that we live in today. When my service-connected disabilities contributed to me stepping down as CEO from an organization that I had ran for nearly 9 years. It was VA disability compensation that helped me keep our finances in order. When I needed the medical care for those same disabilities, It was VA hospitals and vet centers that provided the care I needed and still need today. And when I am called to stand my final post, the VA's National Cemetery Administration relieves the burden from my family and ensure that I am laid to rest with honor and dignity. None of this is unique to me. Countless veterans can share that same story. Yet with everything happening in our country today, I can't help but wonder if VA will be there for future generations as it was for me and for all of our nation's veterans. The VA stands at a defining crossroads, one that will shape not only the institution itself, but our nation's enduring commitment to those who have worn its uniform. On one path lies the dismantling, fragmentation, and gradual erosion of a system that was built to serve veterans. On the other lies a principled effort to modernize, strengthen, and safeguard the VA for future generations who will answer the call to serve. This is not merely a political or bureaucratic debate. It is a moral issue. It is a strategic issue. It is even a national security issue. As an organization founded before our nation had a federal agency charged with honoring veteran sacrifices, we, DAV, know that the VA was not created by accident or convenience. It was built out of necessity and obligation. After each major conflict in American history, our nation confronted the same question: how will we keep our promise to those who bore the cost of war? The VA emerged as the answer. Its mission is singular in American governance: to serve a population not defined by age, income, or geography, but by service and sacrifice. Yet today, VA faces intense pressure. Critics point to long wait times, uneven quality of care, outdated infrastructure, and administrative inefficiencies. These criticisms are not unfounded. The VA, like many large institutions, has struggled to adapt to changing demands, particularly the complex needs of post 9/11 veterans. But acknowledging flaws is not the same as abandoning the mission. Calls to dismantle or significantly privatize VA are often framed as pragmatic solutions, offering veterans choice by shifting care to the private sector. On the surface, this may sound reasonable. In practice, it risks hollowing out the only healthcare system in this country that is purpose-built for veterans. Private healthcare systems are not designed around military service. They don't specialize in combat trauma or polytrauma rehabilitation. They don't take into account the lifelong consequences of military toxic exposures, and they are not accountable to veterans in the same way that a public institution is accountable to the people that it serves. Dismantling once begun is rarely reversible. As resources, talent, and expertise are siphoned away, the VA's ability to function deteriorates. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy in which weakened performance is used to justify further destruction of the department. Veterans are left navigating a fragmented landscape of providers, insurers, and bureaucracies, often at the moments when they are least equipped to do so. Preservation, on the other hand, does not mean defending the status quo. Preserving the VA means reforming it with seriousness and resolve. It means modernizing facilities, investing in digital health infrastructure, streamlining our claims processing, and holding leadership accountable for performance. It means expanding our mental health capacity, strengthening rural access, and ensuring that care keeps pace with evolving medical science. Most importantly, preservation means recognizing that VA is not simply a healthcare provider. It is a covenant with those who have earned its services. If our nation is serious about honoring the promise made to those who served, then our priorities must be clear. Here are some of DAV's critical policy goals for this year. First, we must make the claims and appeals process work for veterans, not against them. Timely, accurate decisions are not a courtesy. They are a moral obligation. We must also strengthen presumptive policies so that veterans exposed to toxic substances are not forced to prove what history and science already know. No veteran should have to be forced to wait decades for the health care and benefits that they have already earned. Equally urgent is closing the gaps in mental health care and suicide prevention. Every veteran in crisis deserves immediate, comprehensive support because no one who served this nation should ever feel forgotten or alone. Our survivors also deserve better. Modernizing and strengthening their benefits ensures financial security after a veteran is gone. Their sacrifices have earned the gratitude of a grateful nation, and we must never neglect them. As veterans age, long-term care must keep pace with their needs. That means expanding assisted living options and strengthening support for caregivers, many of whom bear enormous responsibilities with limited resources. These unsung heroes deserve not just our thanks, but meaningful support that makes a difference in their lives. We must also protect veterans programs from arbitrary budget caps and pay-go offsets that quietly erode funding year after year. Our nation should never balance its budget on the backs of those who have stood to defend it. They already paid. And finally, just last week, a new regulation was published by the VA. It would have reduced compensation for some disabled veterans simply because they take medication for their service-connected disabilities. We're pleased Secretary Collins listened to veterans and announced that the VA would not be implementing the rule. No veteran should be penalized for taking the medication they need to survive. Every generation of veterans inherits the system built by those who came before. The VA that treated World War II veterans like my dad enabled the care of Korea and Vietnam veterans. The reforms driven by Gulf War veterans like myself laid the groundwork for post 9/11 care. What we decide now will determine whether future veterans inherit a robust, integrated institution or a patchwork of programs that treats their needs as transactional rather than holistic. The choice before us is not between reform or stagnation. It is between responsibility or retreat. The VA stands at a crossroads. History will judge which path we choose. What lies beyond is not merely an institutional outcome, but a statement of our national character. Let us choose preservation. Let us choose reform. And above all, let us choose to keep the promise to those who have always kept faith with us. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my testimony. May God continue to bless DAV, the men and women who serve our great nation, and the United States of America. Thank you very much.
We expect Sophia to be here.
All right. So that was what's this dude's name? Oh gosh. DAV Commander, National Commander Coleman Nee in his congressional testimony. A lot went into that, and I think he's spin some good facts out there. The thing is, now it's just action. We already saw the power of veterans voicing their opinions, voicing their concerns when Doug Collins canceled this whole medication thing that he put out there. Continue voicing your concerns, continue voicing your opinions, and just let it be known. That's a reason why channels like this exist. That's the reason why I like to put out information like this to let folks know maybe who go into like things like Facebook or Instagram and just take things at face value. No, actually, let's research this and let's combine efforts and move forward. So again, that was just about 15 minutes or so. That was the entire Coleman Nee's congressional testimony, the DAB National Commander. Yeah, I don't know how what the VA's trajectory is going to be here in a few years. Hopefully, it's still around. Hopefully, that it's still helping veterans, enjoy their life or live a better life in the future. So we will see. Big ups, Mo Perspective. Welcome. I just jumped on this live stream real quick. I saw that Coleman Nee was doing a live stream, and I thought maybe I should share this. It wasn't live streaming on their YouTube for some reason. It was live streaming on Facebook. So I jumped on Facebook real quick, just did my whole screen grab, share screen thing, and shared it for the masses. We just need to stay educated, stay alert on what's going on. And I just put out a video too on a lot of stuff. The Congressional Budget Office put out a lot of options out there that a lot of folks weren't really aware of. And so definitely check that out. Options that could potentially in the future between 2025 last year and 2034 there could be some changes coming downrange for veterans benefits, specifically VA disability benefits and things like that. There was one on, what was it? It was changing the basic allowance for housing. And that's more active duty, but changing the basic allowance for housing to 80% of the actual cost of living, which is insane. If you live somewhere in high cost like New York, San Francisco, San Diego, wherever, now everywhere is really high cost. 80% of that is you're going to have to come out of pocket. And what happens if there's little to no base housing available? You have to move off base. You have to come out of pocket. You're going to have to come out of pocket. So that's unfortunate. So Unsung Veteran, hey, welcome. I don't usually do the live streams this early, but I jumped on because DAB National Commander Coleman Nee's congressional testimony hearing was live, and I was watching it. I thought I'd share it on here a little bit just to let folks know out there what's going on. I'm a big fan of just reading from the source, going to the source. And there's a lot of misinformation going around on Facebook, on Instagram. TikTok is freaking insane for this trash. So I hear about things, I see these things, but then I don't take them at face value. I have to go behind the scenes and do my research, pull up the actual legislation, pull up the publications, and read it for myself. Because too many people have crazy opinions. There's a lot of fear mongering out there, as we know. Too many people have crazy opinions online. So get it from the source, and every time I share a video on something like this, I'm going to give you a source where I'm receiving that from. It's not just hearsay or anything like that. I'm going to give you a source, a website, something with a .edu or a .mil or a .gov or something like that. So just FYI, understand that. I kind of grew up like that in the Marine Corps, going off of sources. I had to source everything. I did military justice for 20 years. I had to source everything and put, just make sure that I cross all the T's and dot all the I's. So let me see. I'm going real quick to the comments here. Mo Perspective, thanks for putting this info out. I sent my vet friend one of your videos and provided some relief to him. Oh, awesome. I appreciate that, Mo. I truly do. Thank you. Unsung Veteran, I have been ignoring them. I want to pretend my 100% PT is good. Yeah, I mean, this is where I stand with that. Until there is, here, let me turn on the light real quick. Until there is something in writing, until there's something that's signed off by the president or whoever is running this stuff, the Secretary Collins, until somebody signs something off, it's not law, right? People can say things, they can put out memorandums, whatever. Until something is signed off, it's not law. So just remember that. Take all these videos, all this fear mongering crap for what it's worth. It's just people's speculations on things. Don't live your life like that. Don't build up that anxiety. Don't get these heart palpitations simply because somebody's opinion. That's never going to end well. You're going to be living in the state of fear at all times. So until something's signed off, then we have something to look at. So understand that when I put something out there, I'm going to provide you a source. I'm going to provide you where I found it. I'm not just going to blindly give you my opinion. I'm going to back it up with some facts, some kind of source, .mil.edu, .gov, whatever, a scientific article, scholarly article, whatever it is. So just understand that. Here, let me close this. Let's see. Yeah, so I like that Unsung Veteran, going back to your comment, been ignoring them. And I think we're talking about the fear mongering videos. I've been ignoring them. I want to pretend that my 100% PT is good. Yeah. So yeah, you can sleep soundly at night right now. The last video I put out yesterday was a lot of the options that the Congressional Budget Office put out there for 2025 to 2034 budgets. A lot of the options include veterans and their pay. There's talk about taxing VA disability. There's talk about taking away VA disability benefits for folks under 30%. Priority 7 and 8 will be, there's talk of taking those folks off. So there's a lot of it going around. However, again, until it's signed off, this is just the budget office. These are options between these years. Until something's signed off, it's not law, until there's a signature on it. So just understand that. Don't give into that fear mongering crap. It's not going to work out well. I stopped listening to that trash a long time ago, only because it's, I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, what happens now? What do I do here? I depend on some of this money. A lot of veterans depend on their VA disability money as part of their income, right? It helps you live a better life. If you can't fully work for whatever reason, or whatever your situation is, you depend on that income. It's a monthly income. So understand that, nothing is fully safe right now. Well, let me switch that up. Nothing has changed right now. Your stuff is safe, is what I meant to say. So keep track of stuff. Make sure you stay at the ready, stay at the alert, and just keep yourself educated on what's going on. That's all we can do right now. And I strive to provide you as much good information as I can with backed up resources, all that good stuff. There's Coleman Knees congressional testimony. He had a lot of great things to say on there about the future of the VA, how the DAV is striving to take care of veterans. I personally, I have a soft spot for the DAV. I use the DAV to do my BDD claim benefits. I'm telling you, it was a smooth process, partly because my DAV counselor, the VSO, was excellent. She took care of everything. If I needed something, she didn't submit it. She's like, get this information and then we'll submit this information, etc. So 100% on board with what the DAV is doing as far as taking care of veterans, right? That's what they're there for. Choose wisely, choose your outlets wisely, listen to only things that have some backup and resources. Don't just listen to people's opinions on things, because you're going to be living in fear if you constantly do that. So yeah, that's where it is. Again, just jumped on really quick. I don't normally jump on at 8 something in the morning here in on the West Coast, but thought this was important enough to share with the veteran community out there. So with that, I'm going to be working on some more videos, doing my work on the side as well, right? And then I will see you all here potentially later on for maybe another live stream. Who knows? I'll be doing another live stream on VRNE, Veterans Readiness and Employment, which seems to be the thing right now for me, because it's such a great benefit. And I'd say use that benefit if you haven't already. Apply for it, because I just have this sinking feeling that it might go away here in the future. So utilize those benefits, get your degree, get trained up for another job. It's such a good benefit. And I just got an email from my counselor too, asking, because I'm going through the educational track, asking if I want a Windows or a MacBook laptop for school. And it comes with a printer. I'm like, well, that's cool, you know? So on top of that, they give you monthly housing allowance and all that good stuff. So great benefit. Jump on it if you haven't already done so. But I'll be doing another live stream video on exactly how to search for jobs for justification to help you out with your educational track on VRNE. So once you get approved. Okay. With that, thank you for watching the Green Logbook. I'll see you here next time. Where the hell is my, okay, here it is. Now, thank you for watching the Green Logbook. I'll see you here next time. Like and subscribe. Oh yeah, like and subscribe. Do all those things, please.